Hi, Jess Keys here, and I haven't posted something in a while, and it's because I've been going through some stuff, just like everybody else has in the world, right? Sometimes you have to be brought down low, lower in your feelings, figuring out why you're feeling like this, why things are happening, in order to come up out of it and realize, okay, this is who I am now, or this is a new aspect about myself I didn't know. So for me in particular, it has been about knowing my limits. I've always been a caring person. I know in the deep recesses of my soul, like I've just always wanted to just show love and be love to people. And being human, sometimes we don't show that love. We don't show that side, depending on a situation. Something can make us angry in the moment, and we react instead of realizing we should think before we react. It's just a whole growing process. So this new thing for me has been living with my father-in-law who has dementia. And we just recently got him into an assisted living facility because we realized, myself included, that there are some things that other people were made to do better than me. And it's kind of sometimes frustrating for me because I think, man, I can do anything. I can put my mind to it. I can do like this and that. And you know what? God didn't make us to be here. The universe didn't have us here to not be connected to each other. So I am looking at this as another way to connect with other people who can look at things differently and help me to look at things differently. I've always been a type of person who loves to feed people. So then I'm given my father-in-law and he's not eating and trying to get him to eat. And he knows that he needs to eat to live. And he knows he needs to drink water to stay hydrated. So so we don't have to keep going to the hospital for fluids and low blood pressure, things like that. But because this disease has taken a hold of him, it doesn't just affect him, it affects everybody. And it's really hard to see my husband also go through it, because knowing the man of who he was and seeing the man of who he is now, it's very frustrating, and makes him like angry and like, why aren't you eating? I don't want to see you wasting away. Like things like that just come out of his mouth, and not just out of his mouth, out of mine too. I mean, I even had a moment, swear to you all, right, that I just lost it on him and just started yelling at him like, you need to eat, you need it, But as I've been doing my research on dementia and things like that, that's not the best way to go. Sometimes when they say, this is how it is, you just need to say, okay, this is how it is, even if it's not the truth, because somewhere in their mind, it is their truth. So I had to learn what my limits are. And I had switched my work schedule around, things like that, in order to accommodate doctor visits, things like this. And I just felt my spirit not realizing, like, I'm so used to like speaking kindly, really trying to get that kindness back. And I do have a mom voice because, I raised some very vocal stand-up boys. So they know that I have a mom voice, that Hulk mom voice that comes out like, don't do that. I do have that. But I always associated that as an unloving thing. And let me explain a little bit more. I felt that if I had to be stern and use that voice like, hey, we need to do this right now. Come on, let's go. That's it. Like, it just was always tiring. I felt like, oh, can't I just like, hey, come on, guys, let's go. Let's get going, It doesn't always work like that. And anyone who's a parent out there or has ever dealt with kids knows that's not the way to go. I'd like that to be the way to go. But sometimes I would always think that having that firm voice, that, oh, we got to get this was not loving. When in actuality, I've been realizing with dealing with my father-in-law that voice is very loving. That voice is loving in a way where I'm saying, okay, let's go. We got to eat right now. Okay, let's go. We got to go to the doctors. Hey, we're going to do our exercises, our physical therapy right now. Let's go. And it's not always in that happy. It's like, we need to do this. Why do we need to do this? And it's explaining it. Do you want to live? Well, then he would reply, yes, I do. I said, in order for you to live, I need you to eat. I need you to drink. I need you to do this. So when you're calling me a slave driver with doing your physical therapy exercises and asking you to eat, then I guess I'm a slave driver because I care enough about you that I want you to live too. Yeah. But I always associated that firm voice with a not loving voice. Silly, right? Because it actually is a voice of loving, because it's what you're saying, it's what's coming out. And what I'm saying is, I want you to live. So it has been a tough few months, but it's also been so rewarding to know it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to, have a voice that maybe is a little bit more stern because you're trying to get that point across, because that's the only way this person can hear you. It doesn't need to be angry or yelling or screaming. I learned that already. Sorry, apologize here. I learned that already the first month of this, because I didn't understand what it was to deal with someone with dementia. And knowing that now, I'm like, wow, there's so much more that you don't understand. They're in their own little world, and it's their reality. And so it's trying to deal with your reality and then what's going on with this, what you're doing with your everyday lives. It can be a lot. It can be tiresome. It can be, draining emotionally, physically. But I can honestly say that it is also really rewarding too, because you get to explore parts of yourself that you didn't even realize you had. If you thought you arrived somewhere where you're never going to lose your shit, let's say, that might take you to a different level. And it's okay. It's okay to go out in your backyard like I did and just cry. To be like, you know what? I don't know what to do. God, universe, show me, tell me. And it's amazing the things that God will show you. And show you how the way you are acting, the way you are being with that person is actually loving. It is kind. Having somebody want to get up every day and live, because they're telling you they want to live, but then the disease is something different where it's acting like, he doesn't want to live. And from the many people that I've talked to about this already, who's already gone through this, even my own mom and family with my grandpa, and with other people that I've worked with who've all had family members who've gone through dementia, there are those different stages. They're like, you know what? It is loving to tell them you want them to eat, you want them to drink, you want them to take a shower and change their clothes. And even if they yell at you and they're crabby and they're swearing at you, just be like, okay, all right. But you can also tell them, I don't want to be talked to like that. Would you like me to talk to you like that? And if they say yes, they would, then be like, okay. You just kind of walk away, and, because they don't understand. And I think that's the hardest thing to know, is that when you're going through something like this, to know that they don't understand is the hardest thing. Because even for my husband, it's still hard for him to understand. He's like, he understands. He does understand. He understands pockets of things. It's like he could balance a checkbook and take care of his money like nobody's business, but turn on the faucet and use a soap. What do you mean? I don't see soap there. How do you turn on the faucet? It's just things like that. And you can have conversations about cars and whatever else, your family members into, whether it was traveling or whatever. They'll remember all these things and you'll be able to have this great conversation. But then when it comes to eating or drinking, it's like, no, it's like pulling teeth. So I just want to let you know, you can have limits. There are limits. For us, we knew that we needed to put him into assisted living, and we found a very amazing place and a great a bunch of people to help our father-in-law out right now. My father-in-law, my husband's dad. And you know what? It's okay. You can have limits. You can have boundaries with that. But also know it's a really good growing experience, learning experience of who you are as a person. Because there are things inside of you might not even realize you need to deal with until something like that comes up in your life. And life is very precious and beautiful. And even though we've had all these experiences and I've been frustrated at times and wanting to, in the end, I know that there is a beautiful soul in there that needs to be shown love. And that's exactly what my husband and I have been doing, is showing him love in the best way that we know how. And so I also want to say thank you to all those that have supported me too through this and just been an ear to hear. And I love you all. And I look forward to the next message, and hopefully it'll be more frequently now. And we can talk about whatever it is that needs to be talked about. I'll be talking more about the ups and the downs. And yeah, sometimes we go low. But no, every time we're in that place of lowness, there's always going to be that time that we rise up. And we're going to take those lessons, those wonderful lessons, and they're only going to make us brighter and better, and we can share and help somebody else. And thank you to all the beautiful souls that took all their experiences and shared them with me so that they could help me become brighter and better too. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.